Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are, whenever you're watching this. This is Floating in Dreams, and today I wanted to do a video where I chat about the makeup brands that I'm very much interested in. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Today's video is going to be a follow-up video to a video I did a couple of weeks ago, which was the makeup brands that I'm no longer buying from, that I'm no longer really interested in, but I thought it would be good to also come on here and do like the opposite of that and talk about the brands that I am actually interested in. So I've got a list of 16 here. Some of it aren't necessarily just like brands in general, but more like categories. And then I just wanted to chat about these brands and why I like them and why I still keep an eye out for them to see what they're doing. In case you're unfamiliar with my channel, hi, my name is Maaike. I live in the Netherlands. I love coming on here to review eyeshadow palettes for you, as well as Essence and Catrice products, and I like getting the use out of my makeup. And if, like me, you are a snow angel, then please consider joining my Snow Angel Club on here and hear recommendations that are perfect for people with fair skin with a cool to neutral undertone, because that's what I like to do on here. As I mentioned, 16 brands, but some of them also are a bit of a grouping, and maybe I've just gotten bougier. I'm not entirely sure, but there are some brands I'd like to try. Some of these brands I already mentioned early on in the year as new brands that I haven't tried yet that I'm interested in trying, but some of these are also just brands that whenever I'm scrolling through Instagram looking for beauty news, which ones they are. So for a lot of these brands, I think that it's like going to be sort of like the opposite of what I was talking about in the brands I no longer buy from video. So the first brand I need to mention here is Urban Decay. Even though Urban Decay as a brand isn't super hyped up or very popular in the beauty spheres anymore, I still like having an eye out for what they are doing. I'm still very much hoping that they'll be able to turn the tide and that they are going to be able to do some lovely products again. Urban Decay is one of those brands where, you know, I've tried so many things. I still have my OG favorites. And I do think that a lot of the recent releases that they have been doing, even though they don't excite most people in the beauty community, they did excite me after I've actually gave them a chance to actually try them. So the Urban Decay Naked Cyber, I actually quite like. The Hydromaniac foundation I liked as well. So for me, Urban Decay is a brand that is very successful and that I've tried a lot by, and that I have always very much held very near and dear to my heart. It's just that they seem to be struggling a little bit. A lot of the releases don't seem to be coming our way very soon, so it makes it more difficult for me to buy from them. But yeah, Urban Decay is definitely a brand that I do really enjoy and that I look out for, and I'm always curious to see what they come out with. Essence and Catrice, I have to mention them here as well. I already mentioned in my intro that I like reviewing their products. They come out with an update in their line for the different seasons, so twice a year they release some products and then they do regular limited editions. It's been like that for I think at least a decade, and a lot of my channel is actually built on trying Essence and Catrice products, and I've never gotten bored of that. I've never felt out of love with these brands because they're always changing it up. They always try to do new things. It's not always successful, but even if sometimes in my first impression I'm a little bit critical of what they do because I'm like, oh, not another lipstick line, like what is this going to add? I wish you would have kept around the old one because that was something I loved. So for me, it definitely sometimes takes a while for their products to grow on me, but I feel that they do some excellent primers and they keep releasing new things. I just love trying out their makeup lines, and because the brands are very readily available to me, they're very easy to buy from. They're not super expensive, so that's why I like to just try these out all the time. And it's just something that I love doing, and I know that whenever I do a video with them, it's gonna get views. And I just love trying out those products. I've never been sponsored by them. I've never shown products that I was gifted in PR. I've always bought everything myself, which I think adds to it. And I just love trying Essence and Catrice because they can do really good makeup, and I love sifting through them. And because they tend to discontinue things very clearly and then bring out new things, I still have an overview. I can keep track of what was old and what was new. Whereas with ColourPop, they just endlessly release new things every week and you don't know what's going on. Whereas with Essence and Catrice, because I know that in a couple of months' time, will get the update again, so I can prepare for that both mentally and also with like making space in my makeup collection for new things. And you know, I sometimes miss products here and there that don't really spark my interest at first, but you know, I'm usually able to do like pretty much a full face of new stuff, and I love trying their stuff. And they do some really good things when it comes to like making packaging recyclable and making everything vegan, and like they're definitely doing that part. But from a sustainability point of view, I do kind of worry about how often they discontinue products and then come up with something new. I definitely think they need to also there slow down with the discontinuing perhaps a little bit. They don't seem to be doing limited editions as regularly as they used to. They used to do like a big limited edition release every month, and they've definitely slowed down on that in that respect. So I'm glad about that, but I'm not that glad that they do discontinue products quite quickly. In terms of more high-end brands, I really am interested in what Charlotte Tilbury has to offer. It's again a line that can be difficult for me to buy from because I am so fair-skinned. But I have found that if you pick around and you go to a counter and really swatch things out, that the brand has a lot of good things to offer. I really enjoy some of the foundations that she does. Her lipsticks are perfect. Yeah, so I really am interested in what she comes out with. And it's not a brand I buy from all the time because it is so expensive. So I definitely don't keep up with new releases here. I tend to mainly buy from the brand in the Black Friday sale. And then if I have a treat myself moment because it's like my birthday, I go to the store and I buy like one thing. But I tend to like just have a bit of a Charlotte Tilbury wish list. And then when she does her Black Friday sale, I get everything in one go. That's usually how I do it. Just to, you know, usually you get some extra free bits. She has some kits that she then has a discount on. But yeah, that's how I tend to buy from the brand, to try and not buy these things at full price. Melt Cosmetics, even though I don't buy everything that they do, I think that's like, that goes for almost everything that I've got going on here. Melt Cosmetics is a brand that I am always very hyped up about. Whenever they do something new, I'm like, oh, that's so cool, but not for me. That's usually how I feel about Melt. Like the new Gemini 2 palette, stunning palette. I'm sure that if I were to add it to my collection, that I would love it, but it doesn't have enough shimmers for me. And it's too similar in like one half of the palette is more reddish toned, and the other half is like murky greeny shades. And I feel they already do that in the Gemini 1. I have that palette. I like that palette. I would much rather use my Gemini and like supplement some of the shades from Muerte. So here again, I feel that the brand is perhaps becoming a little bit repetitive. Not everything they do goes with my makeup aesthetic or what I like, but they have come out with new things that I just love and adore. The Mary Jane palette, the Millennial Pinks. I tend to just go into like the opposite direction of what everybody else seems to like from Melt's line, and then I'm usually good. So yeah, Melt Cosmetics is definitely a brand that I very much appreciate. I have a couple of their complexion products as well that I truly love and adore. So yeah, Melt is definitely a brand I like to keep an eye out on. Some brands that are like newer to me that I like trying, and this is definitely where my makeup aesthetic definitely comes in, and that's a brand like Rare Beauty, where, you know, the brand itself has a lot of products, but it's more like one product that comes in a lot of shades rather than a million different products and you don't know anymore what to choose from. So not that many different formulas, which again, for me makes it a really nice, like I have a good overview of what that brand can give me. And I just recently showed you some new Rare Beauty bits that I bought when I was in Paris. Rare Beauty is not stocked in my country. I have to go online to buy it. It's available from French Sephora, in case you're wondering, if you also live in the Netherlands. So you can buy it online, but I did find myself, you know, in Paris, and then they have things in stock. I can very easily purchase it that way. And that's just, you know, the kind of thing that I like. This more like natural, dewy, great for everyday kind of makeup. That's what I like. I don't like this full glam beat kind of thing. And that's what a lot of the brands actually that I have on the list today definitely give me, or they do products that can allow me to do that sort of thing. So yeah, Rare Beauty, they don't really have a good eyeshadow palette yet, I feel. Like their eyeshadow palette doesn't really tickle my itch. But they have some lovely blushes. They seem to have some really lovely products, and yeah, I can't wait to try more from them now that I have some more. In a similar vein, M Cosmetics, Michelle Phan's brand. Talking about difficult to buy. Oh my word. This is very expensive for me to get, but so worth it, I find. The shipping and handling fees are outrageous, and when I purchased from them the first time last year, my customs office overcharged me. They miscalculated how much the package was worth, and I ended up paying like 25 euros additionally that I shouldn't have paid. I'm still waiting to get that money back, by the way, like a year later. Anywho, they have now reverted to a system though where you can prepay the customs, so it's not calculated at the border, which means the shipping is much quicker, and it just makes, you know exactly what you're buying beforehand. It's expensive. The products aren't cheap, shipping isn't cheap. I do think they have a flat rate of like $10 or 10 euros if you spend over a certain amount of money, which is good. But the shipping and handling fees just make it so incredibly expensive. But in terms of a makeup brand that is my aesthetic to a T, M Cosmetics for sure. Those serum blushes, even though they are a faff to use, I love using them. They are so good. And I really like the blush I have in Magic Hour as well. So I actually did place myself a second order. So that's currently making its way to me, and I will be showing you the products I got in July when those come in. Another much hyped up brand that I haven't really tried a lot by, again because they are so much more difficult to buy for me, is Petit. So Petit is a makeup artist brand that I can only buy, I think, from Cult Beauty. That's the only place where they stock it. It's very often out of stock, so I can't really buy them. But yeah, you will have seen me show some new Petit bits that I have purchased in my most recent haul. I bought a lip gloss when I was like exploring lip glosses, and I was like, Petit. I'm not sure what I was buying anymore from Cult Beauty, but that was one of the things that was in stock, so I put it in my cart because it's also one of the more affordable options to try, and I really enjoy that gloss. So maybe you want to try one of his blushes, and I really wanted to try some of his eyeshadow as well. But the first Major Dimension palette with those warm tones weren't going to work for me, so I really wanted to try that Major Dimension 2 palette to see if that could work for me. So I still have to try everything out, but yeah, Petit is another one of those brands where I was like, yeah, those are some products I still would like to try. Not sure if I'll ever get to the point of like owning a full face of Petit. Again, a brand that focuses a lot on warm tones, but if I can pick and choose from the brand and try the products that appeal to me, I'm happy. Then another sort of like category of brands that I'm sort of more interested in nowadays is a brand such as Kosas. So these more like clean, natural beauty products, that's sort of my vibe, and Kosas is definitely a brand that, again, I would like to get my hands on. Only available from Cult Beauty, very much out of stock. I do think I can buy it from the US if I'd want to. Like if I'm very desperate, I could buy Kosas through the US official website, but then I would have to pay for customs and all that. So I'm still on the fence where to buy it from, but their concealer I think I'd like. They do a stunning powder. They do a bronzer that looks very much up my street. Like Kosas has a couple of products that I'm very curious after. So Kosas is definitely another one of those brands where I'm like, yes, I want to try that one. Haven't tried anything from them yet. A brand that I need to mention here as well is Tower 28. I think they sort of fall into the same category. This is another one of those brands where I have tried, I think, lip gloss and a blush. Only available to me on Revolve as far as I know. So again, very limited availability. Things go out of stock very easily. But now that I've tried that gloss, I want to try more. Like they do a shade called Pistachio that looks right up my street. I'd love to try another one of their blushes. That tinted SPF moisturizer kind of thing, very appealing to me as well. So this is definitely a brand that I've tried products from and I want to try more, but they are a little bit difficult to get a hold of. Then a brand that I have found out is actually stocked at Douglas, which I can buy online, which is Dear Dahlia, which I'm not sure if they're K-beauty or whether they're a Chinese brand. They are definitely more high-end. And but I just figured out recently that I can buy them from my like local Dutch online store. And this is again a little bit more ethereal, natural looking. Like that's what I'm all about. And they seem to have some stunning products. So I would like to try some eyeshadow from them, maybe a blush. So yeah, if I end up buying them, I'll show you what I got. Another new to me brand that I would love to try is Aether Beauty. I believe they're now spelled without the E and it's just the A. Again, a brand that is available through Douglas, but they don't have any of the new releases in. And the Rose Quartz palette never ever came into stock, and that's the one I really want to try. So this is one where I'm like, maybe I should just order it from the US, again, like Kosas. Yeah, another brand that is available here, but they don't have everything. And that's why I'm sort of like on the fence. Like I'm not sure yet what I want to do. They're doing a blue and purple eyeshadow palette, and Aether is, I believe, a brand that is in, like their eyeshadow is infused with natural crystals or something like that. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what the marketing ploy is here. But yeah, Aether Beauty is definitely one I want to try. I think at some point this year I will probably buy like the Rose Quartz and that blue purple palette. Then another brand that I'm very intrigued by, and that's Trini London. So I'm not sure if you follow her here on YouTube. She has an Instagram, and I think her Instagram videos just get posted to her YouTube channel. And she's Trini from Trini and Susanna, who did a fashion show in like the late 90s and early 2000s, telling, you know, like women what to wear clothing wise. And she decided to start a beauty brand a couple of years ago, and she uses the products in all of her videos, but it's all like in a pot and like very sort of like you can just slap it on kind of things. I've already had a look at the website, but I hope that if I go to London at the end of the summer, that there's like a store that I can visit to see the products in real life, so I better know what to go for. But yeah, Trini London is definitely a brand I also want to try. I want to try some of the lip to cheek. I want to try some of the sheer shimmer, some of the eyeshadow. She seems to have some good base products as well, but I'm not sure whether I'm interested in that. But yeah, it's all this like easy, effortless, sort of like slap dab kind of makeup. You're a busy woman. You just want to look put together, but you don't want it to like take up a huge amount of time in the morning. That's the brand to go for sure. Similarly, Glossier, and Glossier has opened a store in London, and I'm going to be traveling to London in August. They've got a shop now in Covent Garden. So that makes it a little easier for me to buy from. I bought from Glossier when I was in New York a couple of years ago. They don't ship to the Netherlands, and that's why I'm so stoked that they now have a store in Europe. It just makes it so much easier to buy from them. But yeah, the Glossier, like everything I tried from the brand I loved. Just everything. I liked everything. I want to try the skin tint. I want to try the blushes. Because I only could buy them in New York, I definitely sort of like I had like a budget in mind of what I wanted to spend maximum when I was there. So I couldn't try everything from the line. So now I definitely want to sort of like add on and try some other things. And one of the reasons why I haven't been using one of my favorite products from the brand is Future Dew primer, is because I actually don't want to use it up. So I know that if I can buy myself a backup of it, and knowing that it's a little bit easier to get a hold of, I'll be able to commit more and really get the use out of it. Then another brand that I know I believe they do have a counter only in London, which is Victoria Beckham. And it's a very expensive brand, which is why I first want to see this in real life. But oh boy, I've seen, like, this is Instagram marketing getting its work done, because I've seen some of those like single shadows that they do, like these it looks so stunning. Again, another brand where I'm hoping to buy like a full face from in one go, but like a couple of bits here and there. I'm not an eyeliner person, but their kohl pencils, those look stunning to me as well. So yeah, I definitely think I want to do like a little eye moment. See the brand in store first though, just to make sure that I know what I'm buying, because I believe like one product is like 50 euros. It's like super expensive. So before I decide whether I'm going to commit, I first want to see that in real life for sure. Another sort of more bougie option that I wanted to mention here is Natasha Denona. I am very interested in Natasha Denona releases. I don't buy everything, again, far too expensive and out of budget, unless I really go like, ooh, you know, I have to get that, like that excited feeling before I spend that much money on a product. And with Natasha Denona, not everything sparks my interest. I don't think she does anything complexion wise that has really like sparked my interest to begin with. Like, I have a blush, which I like. I just recently bought a lip gloss because I was like, I've never tried anything lip wise from Natasha Denona. Maybe I should. I've mainly tried eyeshadow palettes. But yeah, Natasha Denona is definitely a brand where I would like to like look at the other things the line has to offer beyond eyeshadow palettes. But I'm not sure the brand has a lot to offer that goes with my makeup aesthetic per se. So that's why I'm sort of like on the fence about that one. Like, I like buying from them, I keep an eye on them, but I don't buy everything for sure. Fenty Beauty, another brand that I love buying from. They do some really, really good things, but also some things that I just really don't like. And that mainly has to do with the fact that Fenty Beauty caters a lot to people with normal combination oily skin rather than dry skin like mine. So that's why Fenty Beauty isn't always perfect, but I tend to, like, I have a couple of go-to products from the brand that I love. And that's why I'm always keeping an eye out to see what they're doing, what they're up to, what products they're putting out. It is definitely a brand I look out for. Again, very difficult for me to buy from, only available through French Sephora, and like Harvey Nichols in the UK. Again, not a brand that's very widely available to me, which is a bit of a shame. So difficult to buy, and therefore I don't buy everything, but I do like keeping an eye out for them. And then the final single brand I want to mention here is Nabla. And Nabla is another brand where I just like them. I really, really do. It's just that, again, undertone wise, it's not always perfect. Some of their early on releases just were far too full coverage for me, so I passed up on those. But Nabla does some really good things, and that's why I definitely like looking into them and what they have out there. And Nabla being an Italian brand, I need to mention the other Italian brand that I love looking out for, and that is Kiko Milano. They do some really, really good things. They have a good solid standard line in their range. They do regular limited edition collections that very often have the prettiest packaging, and I have to remind myself all the time, Micah, you can't, because it's way too dark and way too warm toned for you. So Nabla and Kiko, for me, have some really cool, really innovative new things that get me really excited, but a lot of it doesn't go with my fair skin tone as well, because they seem to be really going, like, gearing their line a lot to like a golden undertone, more so than something like this. So yeah, both brands I do really like. But there's two sort of like brand groupings I need to mention where I also like to look into. And that is, first of all, indie brands. I think that because of YouTube and being part of this YouTube community, it has really sparked my interest for independent makeup brands that aren't owned by really big companies. Now, some of the brands I just mentioned are also indie brands, but I'm also talking here specifically about indie brands that do eyeshadow palettes. So I have every single year, there are a couple of like indie brands that I would like to buy from, that I've heard from, and that I then want to buy into. So this year, I think, like last year was like Glam Shop, and this year I've bought from Makeup by Lisa. So there are things. I have, however, found, because this was sort of something I've been doing for a few years, that not all indie brands that are hyped up on YouTube are A, easy to get, or two, really something I want to buy into. So I've become more selective as to which ones there are there, but I love following like beauty news, Instagram accounts that focus mainly on indie brands, just to see what's out there. And then when things end up being a little bit more hyped up, that's when I sort of like go and pick and choose like what brands to buy from. I love trying small creators, supporting them, and yeah, just seeing what's out there and really trying something differently from the norm. And I think that that's also one of the reasons why when I talked about brands I no longer shop from, the innovation just isn't with these big name companies. It's really much more so with smaller indie brands. And that's why I definitely like to look out for them and see what they have to offer. And then the last category that I have to mention here are K-beauty brands. I have found in recent years, I definitely have a soft spot for that dewy, sheer, barely there kind of makeup that in the beauty YouTube community just isn't mentioned all that often. And I just love just how natural it looks on my skin. Again, something that I love trying, and I can't wait to get stuck into that Yes Style order that I showed you in May. Like, there's so many good products that I think that I bought. And again, with the K-beauty products that I've tried, I've been trying some products now for like the past two-ish years or so. Nothing has been a dud. Nothing has been something I couldn't make work for myself. Everything I've tried from K&J beauty brands have just been out of this world, amazing. So I know that that's what I want to go back to. And now that I'm sitting down here, because I made a list, and now I'm realizing that I forgot a brand. Viseart. Not a brand that does a lot of complexion and things like that. It's mainly eyeshadow palettes. That's probably why I sort of forgot to mention them here. But yeah, Viseart releases I definitely keep an eye out as well. In terms of eyeshadow quality, I think Viseart is one of the brands that I definitely also look out for. So yeah, that's it. That's everything I wanted to mention in today's video. Let me know in a comment down below what your favorite brands are to look out for. Not because you buy from them all the time, but just because you find them interesting brands that you like sort of keeping track of and seeing what's new and maybe buying from them as well. I would love to know. And for now, if you'd like to thumbs up the video because you liked it, that would be lovely because it would help my videos out for sure. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more by me. I make several videos a week, so I have lots more coming your way. Thank you so very much for being here. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye. Take care.